Thief! Get out of our house. My fiancé's parents screamed in my face. They accused me of stealing a family heirloom to stop our wedding. I didn't scream back. I did what needed to be done. 3 months later, their lives started falling apart. Hi. I'm Claire. I'm 30, I teach music, mostly private lessons, sometimes I sub at a local school. I'm not broke. I've got a nice apartment, my own car, clothes that didn't come from a clearance bin. But to Justin's family, I might as well have been invisible. Or worse, common. I didn't come with millions, old diamonds, or beach homes in the Hamptons. I wasn't from their world. And they made that clear on day one. Justin, my fiancé at the time, was sharp, funny, warm. Born into a life where vacation meant a villa in Sardinia, not 2 weeks in Florida. His dad? Construction magnate. His mom? Voted icon of elegance by Portland Society magazine. Their home looked like a magazine spread, white mansion, spiral staircase, and a butler who literally opened the door for you when you came to dinner. And me? I showed up with a Tupperware of homemade cheese pancakes. His mom looked me up and down and said, "Oh, you cook?" How quaint. That tone, the one people use when they're pretending to compliment you but really saying, "You're a cashier? Well, at least you're working." Justin and I met at an art gallery. I was there on a client invite. He was standing by a sculpture muttering something like, "Wow, 10 grand for a rusty pipe sticking out of drywall. So brave." I laughed. We started talking. A week later, dinner. A month later, we were living together. Yeah. Fast. Too fast for his family's taste. They were convinced I was a fling. A phase. A detour before he came to his senses and married someone appropriate. See, before me, it had been the usual lineup: daughters of CEOs, women with lifestyle brands, charity darlings whose last names came with real estate. And then me. Music teacher from South Portland. No trust fund. No famous lineage. No name you'd drop at a benefit gala. I knew they didn't like me. Not because they said it, God no, they were far too polished for that. It was the looks. The loaded comments like, "Oh, so you teach at night? Like babysitters do." Or, "How sweet you're still renting. We thought only students did that now." I kept quiet. I didn't want to be the woman who pulled a man away from his family. Besides, Justin always backed me up. 6 months in, we got engaged. Nothing flashy. Just a simple ceremony with close friends and good music. No circus. When we told his parents, his mother forced a smile and said, "Oh, how wonderful." After that, things got sticky. Like being in a house where everything's coated in syrup, shiny on the outside, but touch it and you're stuck. They stopped being rude. Worse, they got nice. Too nice. Gifts. Compliments. Creepily sweet smiles. Justin's sister-in-law Elizabeth, who once asked at brunch if I was the one playing piano at the subway, suddenly started calling me Hon. Then came the invite, his mother's birthday gala. Big night. Fancy guests. Press. And Sharon, his mom, told me she wanted me to look the part. She sent a dress. Silk, floor length. Heels. A necklace. Justin asked me to wear it. Said it mattered to her. Said maybe she was trying to make peace. I didn't believe that. But I hoped. Maybe, just maybe, they were ready to accept me. The night was weird. They were too nice. His dad asked me about music. Pretended to listen. Sharon handed me champagne and said, "Tonight your family." Even perfect Elizabeth with her fake tan and real attitude flashed a too wide smile. It felt fake. You know how snakes look right before they strike? That. And then Sharon brought out the box. "Our family treasure," she said, holding a little antique case. "My grandmother's ring. Passed down through generations. It'll be in a museum exhibit soon. But tonight, you can all see it. Hold it even." She passed it around like it was holy. Then she handed it to me. "Someday, the wife of my eldest son will inherit this. Maybe that's you, Claire." I took it. Heavy. Beautiful. Looked at the stone, turned it in my fingers. Handed it back. That was it. Nothing happened. I thought maybe, just maybe, we'd turned a corner. We stayed a bit after the party. I wanted to leave early, but Sharon insisted. Oh, come now, Claire, we were just getting to know each other. So we stayed. Then, screaming, "Where's the ring?" We ran to the study. Sharon stood by the safe, pale as paper. "I left the box right here," she said, pointing with a trembling hand. "Just for a moment. Someone called me away. I came back, put it in the safe, but I didn't check it. And now it's gone." Panic. Howard, Justin's brother, helped her sit down. Someone ran for water. Someone else mentioned calling the cops. Then someone suggested checking the security cameras. Because of course there are security cameras. Millionaire home, remember? They pulled up the footage. Everyone crowded around. On screen, Sharon leaves the box on the desk. A minute passes. Then another. From behind a curtain, a woman steps out. Same dress as mine. Same hair. Same build. Same walk. She opens the box. Looks inside. Drops something in her purse. And walks away. Freeze frame. All eyes on me. And the room goes quiet. That kind of sharp, slicing quiet that feels like it's cutting your skin. If you'd asked me a year ago what kind of family I'd be marrying into, I probably would have said something like, warm, classy, maybe a little uptight, but in a wine on Fridays, lawn dinners with fairy lights kind of way. That's how Justin described them. Okay, with a twist. Replace the lawn with a private park, and the wine with a vintage champagne collection no one's allowed to touch. Still, family. The kind that hugs and roasts each other at Thanksgiving. Yeah. I had no idea love in their world meant scoring, comparing, and cutting you down with a smile. Justin and I met at an art gallery. I was there because one of my clients, her daughter takes piano lessons with me, invited me. He was standing next to some ridiculous iron installation muttering, "So, is the rusty nail part intentional, or did they just run out of money?" I laughed. He turned. Smiled. We started talking. He didn't know who I was. I didn't know who he was. It was refreshing. A week later, he asked me out. A month later, he asked me to move in. 6 months in, he proposed. He was funny, smart, kind, thoughtful. I thought I'd won the jackpot. Turns out, I had, just not the kind you want. More like a golden ticket straight into a family-run circus. I met his parents on week 2. They'd been out of town, but the second they found out their son was dating some music teacher, they cut the trip short. I learned that part later. They invited me over for dinner. I showed up in a Bloomingdale's dress and brought homemade cinnamon rolls. Sharon, his mother, looked at the box like it might contain anthrax, then said, "Oh, how domestic." His dad shook my hand and said, "So, you teach music?" I always thought musicians mostly, performed. It took me a second to decode that one. Translation, "So, you failed." But Justin held my hand and smiled. So I told myself, it's fine. Some people are just guarded. Give them time. 3 months went by. We visited their cabin, a mansion on a lake with 3 decks and a private dock. His brother Howard was there with his wife Elizabeth and their daughter. It was picture perfect, until you realized I was cropped out of every mental snapshot. I helped in the kitchen. Sharon called it, your natural habitat. I tried playing with their daughter, and Elizabeth said, "Oh, better not, she's sensitive to loud noises. Especially, piano." Justin didn't hear that. He was talking to his dad on the dock. Then came the formal dinner with his father's business partners. I sat between 2 women casually discussing $40,000 a year prep schools. They asked where I went to college. I said, University of Portland. One of them nodded and said, "Oh, our housekeeper went there. Lovely woman. Very diligent." I never complained. Not even when Sharon gave me a cookbook for Christmas with a note that said, "You're trying so hard, I think this will help." Not even when Justin's dad offered to pay for a finishing school seminar. Not even when Elizabeth, during a family photo shoot, said, "Claire, you should stand at the end, you're so petite, we'll definitely see you." We were outside. It was raining. I stood in mud while the rest of them posed on marble steps. Justin didn't notice. Or maybe he didn't want to. He loved me, I still believe that. But he thought his family was tough but fair. No. They were toxic. Plain and simple. Then Justin told them we were getting married. Not someday. Not eventually. In the spring. Small wedding. Friends. Music. Nothing flashy. Sharon said, "Oh, how wonderful." His dad asked, "Are you sure this is the right time?" 2 days later, Justin started having trouble at work. Nothing huge, just little things, getting left off email chains, skipped in meetings, having reports rerouted through assistants. His brother, out of nowhere, got a promotion Justin had been waiting for. When he asked his dad directly, the answer was vague. "You need to prove yourself. You've got distractions right now." And then came the invitation to tea. Just me and Sharon. No Justin. We sat in the sunroom. She put her hand over mine and said, "Claire, I believe you love him. But think, can you really support him when he becomes the man he's meant to be? When the company depends on him? When every move is under a microscope? Will you rise with him? Or will you weigh him down? Because, let's be honest, you're not from this life." I smiled. Told her Justin chooses for himself. Then I left. But I knew. From that moment I knew. They weren't done. They weren't going to stop with snide remarks or fake politeness. Next time, it would be more than words. What I didn't know, what I never saw coming, was just how far they were willing to go. But looking back, I should have known. It's not me. I heard my voice before I realized it was mine. Too high, too sharp, too scared. "That's not me on the video," I said again, quieter this time, my face burning, neck slick with cold sweat. The screen was frozen on her, this other woman, in my dress with my hair moving like me. She turned slightly, and I did the same without meaning to. Everyone saw it. And I knew exactly how it looked. That's what made me want to scream louder. I didn't steal the ring. I didn't even think about it. I stopped talking. Because everyone was staring. Even Justin. He didn't move. Didn't speak. Just stood there. Then Sharon started talking. Her voice was shaking so hard it barely held together. I only left the box for a moment. Just a few minutes. I got a call from the foundation. I was distracted. I came back and put it in the safe, but I didn't double-check. And now, I don't know. I just had a feeling. I went to check. She broke into a sob. Or something that looked like it. Hard to tell at that point. Everything sounded muffled. "Claire," someone said. "Maybe Howard. Or his father. Show us your purse." My heart stopped. Like, literally stopped. For one brief second it just quit. "What?" I whispered. "Your bag. Show us what's in your bag." That was definitely his dad now. No fake politeness left. Just cold command. "You've got to be kidding me," I tried to laugh. It came out wrong, too sharp, too brittle. "You think I'd just slip a ring into my purse and walk around with it?" "Then show us," Elizabeth said. Way too fast. Way too confident. Justin still said nothing. "Justin," I turned to him, desperate. "You know I didn't. I was with you almost the entire night." "Almost," he said. And that voice, I'll never forget it. Flat. Quiet. Like someone flipping a switch. "Almost." Sharon snapped, voice shrill. He turned to her, slowly. She stepped away. 15 minutes, maybe less. I went to the bathroom. I practically yelled. I didn't say anything because it's stupid, but the lock jammed. I couldn't get out. I almost called for help, but it opened eventually. I didn't steal anything. Someone set me up. "Of course they did," Elizabeth rolled her eyes. "The ring just magically flew into your purse?" "You're afraid to show us because it's in there, isn't it?" His dad stepped closer. "It's not in there." I grabbed my purse, unzipped it, flipped it upside down right onto the coffee table. Wallet. Lipstick. Keys. Phone. A crumpled mint wrapper. And the ring. Big, bright, glowing like a miniature sun. I couldn't look at it. Silence. It felt like the floor vanished under me. Like the whole world just dropped out and left me hovering in midair. "You thief!" Sharon shrieked, jumping to her feet. "We let you into our home, into our family. We tried to welcome you. And this is what you do." His dad, "That's what happens when you let just anyone in. I told you we were moving too fast." Elizabeth, whispering like a stage actress, "God, this is humiliating." I stood there, speechless, frozen. Justin walked toward me. Slow, mechanical, like his body was moving without his brain. He took me by the shoulders, turned me toward him. "Claire, tell me the truth. Just the truth. Why did you do it?" "I didn't," I said. I looked him right in the eyes. Tears were running down my face. I hadn't even noticed. "Justin, you have to believe me. I didn't take the ring. I don't know how it got into my bag. I swear to you." He looked at me like I was someone he didn't recognize. And I knew, if he looked away, if he didn't believe me, I'd shatter. "Call the police." Sharon yelled. His father snapped, "Are you insane? Do you want a scandal? The press, the foundation, our investors? Everyone knows our son is marrying this woman. This would destroy us. Just get her out of here." "Get out." Elizabeth echoed. "You should be grateful we're not filing charges." I didn't move. I just looked at Justin. Then slowly, quietly, I started picking up my things off the table. No one helped. Except Justin. He handed me my phone, my lipstick, the mint, and watched as I shoved them back into my purse with shaking hands. "This was a setup," I whispered. "Someone wanted me to look like a thief. This was a show. And you know that. You have to know that." "Justin," Sharon snapped. "Tell her to leave. Now." He looked at me, then said, "We're leaving." And we walked out. No words. Just eyes on our backs, cold, sharp, full of judgment. Like knives. I didn't say a word in the car. Neither did he. Only when we stepped inside his apartment did I finally collapse onto the couch and cover my face with both hands. "I'm not a thief," I whispered. "Please believe me." "I want to," he said. "I really do. But Claire, the ring was in your bag. And the footage, it looks like you." "I know," I said. "But it's not me." In the bathroom, someone locked me in. At the time I thought it was just a jammed lock. But now? Now I know it was part of the setup. They trapped me so they could dress someone else in my clothes. My hair. My walk. Everything was planned. Even the gift from Sharon. Dress, shoes, necklace. They knew exactly what I'd be wearing, because they picked it. So they could copy it. And I'm guessing they planted the ring while my bag was left on the chair. He sat down next to me. Said nothing for a few seconds. Then nodded. "Okay. Then we'll prove it. First step, the video. We'll go frame by frame. Look for anything, something they missed." You'd think that would have made me feel better. That he was on my side, that he was ready to dig for the truth. But honestly, it just made something inside me twist even tighter. Because now I was making him choose. Between his family and me. I was asking him to believe that the people who raised him, who bought him his first bike, sent him to boarding school, hugged him on Christmas, were capable of this. That they would frame someone just to get rid of her. He looked at me. And God, he looked older. Like this night aged him 20 years. I wanted to disappear. Evaporate. I couldn't stand watching him carry this weight, trying to make sense of a world that suddenly didn't make any. "I should probably go," I exhaled. "Just for a while. Give you some space." He shook his head immediately. "No. Don't. Don't go. Justin. I want to believe you, Claire. And I do. It's just." He paused, studying my face like it might break. It's hard to wrap my head around the idea that my parents could go that far. But I've seen what they do when something doesn't fit their version of perfect. "You really think they could have staged all this?" "I don't know," he said. "But I do know one thing. You wouldn't steal a ring. You just wouldn't. And if you say it wasn't you, I'm with you." He took my hand. His palm was warm, steady, but I could still see the flicker of doubt in his eyes. Tiny, barely there, but real. I'm not leaving you, he said, no matter what, even if it means going up against them. For a second, everything went quiet, like someone loosened the knot I'd been carrying in my chest all night. Thank you, I whispered. Just, thank you. That means we're going to prove it. That one sentence brought me back to life. Not I love you and believe you no matter what. Just, I'm not sure yet, but I want to be. Justin didn't take my hand like some fairy tale prince. He reached for me like someone who was scared too. And that felt real. He had a plan. He was going back to his parents' house, undercover basically. I couldn't decide if I was relieved or terrified. I'll tell them we broke up, he said, voice flat. That you made everything up. That I'm shocked and finally seeing that they were right. He looked away like he wanted to rinse the taste of those words out of his mouth. It'll get me back in. Let me move around, talk to the staff, maybe check the security system. The goal is, make them believe I'm back on their side. I nodded. I had no right to stop him. He was doing what most people wouldn't even dare, standing up to his own family. He came back late that night, exhausted, pissed off, and laser-focused. No more doubts in his eyes. Just quiet rage and determination. They bought it, he said. Dad clapped me on the back. Mom cried. She even asked me to pass along a message to you. Actually, never mind. Point is, they're relaxed now. He downed a glass of water like it was a shot of whiskey. And you won't believe this, they're freaking out. About the ring. What? Yeah. Total panic mode. The whole house is in chaos. They've interrogated every maid, every guard, even the kitchen staff. Turned the place upside down. He sat down next to me. Thomas, the head chef, told me Mom stormed into the kitchen this morning looking deranged, screaming if the ring doesn't show up, you're all getting fired or worse. Justin shook his head. She really thinks someone from the staff stole it. I sat there stunned. So, wait. They planted a fake ring in my bag. He nodded slowly. The real one? She must have hidden it somewhere, then forgot where. The panic started right after we left. To me they're acting all calm, like they're happy I came to my senses. But inside? They're spiraling. Did you get the security footage? Not yet. Dad ordered it wiped. Security wouldn't give me anything. But the cameras are cloud-based. I leaned forward. Who has access to the cloud? Dad. And my brother. My heart skipped. Howard. Justin nodded again. Yeah. I texted him. Didn't tell him everything, but hinted that Mom and Dad seriously crossed a line. He agreed to meet tomorrow. The next day, Justin left early. Came back just after lunch, looking like he hadn't slept in days. He sat down in front of his laptop and let out a long breath. We got it. He opened the file. Footage from the hallway. And the study. There, he said. That's her. I sat beside him. On screen, my twin. My dress. My hair. Even the necklace. She kept her head down the whole time. Arms crossed, chin tucked. No face. Just posture. Wait, hold on, he paused the video. Right there. I leaned in. She was walking away, the job already done. And then for a second, just a second, the slit in the dress shifted. And we saw it. A small tattoo on her thigh. Lavender. Delicate. Subtle. I've never had a tattoo, I whispered. I know. His voice was quiet. Gentle. I'm so sorry I didn't believe you right away. A lump formed in my throat. I get it. It's hard to imagine your own parents could. I trailed off. But he finished for me, voice sharp now. Could do something this low? Frame my fiancé to destroy our relationship. He turned to me, finally pulled me in. Really held me. The first real hug since everything blew up. That was the moment he truly believed me. We'll find this woman, he said. That tattoo, she had to get it somewhere. We'll track down the artist. The shop. Something. He was already rewinding the footage, eyes narrowed like a detective in a crime drama. And from there? Honestly, it felt like a movie. Only this time, I wasn't the villain in their story. I was about to rewrite the whole damn script. So we started hitting tattoo shops. I had a blown-up screenshot of the lavender sprig, and I showed it to every artist we could find. Most said no. But then, this one girl with rainbow dreads squinted at it and went, "Oh yeah, that's totally my work. I did that a couple weeks ago. I even kept the sketch. Hold on." She pulled it up. Client's name, Samantha. Occupation, actress. Reason for rush? She had a shoot that same day. Bingo. We had a name. And a number. We found her. She looked like a Disney extra, young, innocent, wide-eyed. But the second she saw the video, her face drained of color. And when Justin said the words criminal charges and fraud involvement, she started crying. "They told me it was just a prank," she whispered. "We just want the truth," Justin said. "But if you don't tell us what happened, this could go down very differently for you. And not in a good way." She cried harder. Justin turned on the voice recorder. "They said it was a joke. That you two were fighting, and they wanted to stage something dramatic to bring you back together." "Who's they?" he asked, calm but firm. "A woman. Sharon, I think. And a man. Older. Polite. They told me to walk into the study, open this little box that would be sitting on the desk, pretend to take something, and drop it into a purse. The ring. There was no ring. I swear. The box was empty. I just opened it, closed it again. That's it. They said the point was just the act. That it needed to look real on video. I thought it was, like performance art or something. She even had the email to prove it. An invitation to participate in a private immersive experience, promising generous compensation. And a signed agreement. Real, legal-looking, full of vague language. We had it all. The video. The tattoo. The confession, on tape. And the paper trail. I should have felt vindicated. But honestly, I felt sick. Like I was standing in the middle of a theater, watching everyone tear off their masks, only I hadn't even known it was a show. "I could leak this," I told Justin. "Put it all out there. But I don't want to. I just want them to know that you know. And that they leave us alone." "They will," he said. "I'll make sure of it." The next day, he went back to their house. This time, no act. No pretending. He had copies of everything. The originals were already in his lawyer's hands. He wasn't there to talk. He was there to burn the bridge. He planned to tell them he was out, leaving the family business, marrying me, and if they so much as breathed in our direction again, we'd make sure the whole world knew exactly what they'd done. Every last dirty detail. Only, he didn't get that far. He came back way sooner than I expected, looking like a man who'd just found the final piece of a puzzle. "You ready for a surprise?" he asked, eyes practically glowing. Then he pulled the ring, out of his pocket. My jaw actually dropped. "What, how?" "Oh, I'm not done." He pulled a flash drive from the same pocket. "Sit. You need to hear this." He plugged it into his laptop. I heard his voice first. "Hey, sweetheart. What's that you've got there?" And then a tiny, cheerful voice answered. "It's Grandma's special ring. Isn't it pretty? I found it in a shoe." "A shoe?" "Aha. Grandma put it there. I saw her. We were playing hide and seek, and I hid in that room with all the clothes and stuff. She didn't see me, so I stayed super quiet. She thought no one was there. I'm really good at hiding, huh?" The kid laughed proudly. I stared at the screen. "Who is that?" I whispered. Justin paused the recording. "That's Lily. My 5-year-old niece." He smiled, but it didn't quite reach his eyes. She had the ring the whole time. It was in her toy box. My mom hid it in a shoe, and Lily found it. "How did you even figure that out?" "Total accident. I was storming down the hallway, ready for war, and she was sitting there on the carpet playing with her dolls. Toys everywhere. I slowed down so I wouldn't step on anything, and that's when I saw her shoving something shiny into one of the doll shoes. I bent down and boom, there it was." He hit play again. "You're amazing," he said to the little girl on the recording. "And what happened after?" "She put the ring in the shoe, then left. I couldn't reach it at first, 'cause the shoe was high, but I climbed on the ottoman and got it. Look how sparkly." "So sparkly," he said. "And when was this?" When we had all the guests and the music and the games. But the ring doesn't fit in Dolly's shoe. I keep trying but it won't go." Recording ended. Justin sat back. "I mean, that's it. That's the final piece." He wasn't smiling anymore. They tore their house apart looking for this. Interrogated everyone. And it was in a kid's toy box the whole time. Serves them right. I couldn't speak. I just sat there, palms pressed to my lips, trying to process the flood of feelings. "What are you gonna do now?" I finally whispered. He let out a long breath. "I'll give it all to the lawyer. Then we talk to them. One last time." "We?" He looked at me. "Yeah. I want you there. I mean, you don't have to come, obviously. But I'd like you with me." "And what are we gonna say?" "That we're getting married. That if they say one more word, we sue. And that I don't want their money anymore." We went to see them the next day. They were in the living room when we walked in. Justin was holding my hand. Sharon jumped up like she'd just seen a ghost. "Justin. Honey, you came back." "We need to talk," he said. Calm. Cold. His father raised an eyebrow. "Please. Spare us the drama." "You're too late for that," Justin said. "The drama already happened. You accused Claire of stealing. You staged a cheap little soap opera. And you thought you'd get away with it." Sharon went pale. "What are you talking about? That's ridiculous." Then she looked at me like I was something she'd just stepped in. "Why did you bring her? You saw the footage. She's a thief, she." "Enough." Justin snapped, cutting her off like a knife to the throat. He pulled a flash drive out of his pocket. "Here. This is the security footage from the study. The woman in that video? Not Claire. She's got a tattoo on her leg. Claire doesn't. That woman was an actress. One you paid to play a part. And we found her. She told us everything." His father's face twisted in disgust. "You're seriously trusting the word of some hired actress?" Justin didn't even blink. "How about a child's word?" He hit play on the recorder. That sweet little voice filled the room. Sharon sat down. Her hands were trembling. "You planted a fake ring in Claire's bag," Justin continued. "And you hid the real one in a shoe. You paid a stranger to humiliate the woman I love." "We were trying to protect you," his father exploded. "She's not your match. She comes from nothing. No status, no name, no connections." "And you have no honor," Justin said quietly. "And now no son." That landed like a gunshot. His parents just stood there stunned. Then his father shot to his feet. "If you marry her, forget your inheritance. Everything I built will go to Howard." "Let him have it," Justin said, just as calm. "I've got a brain. And a conscience. And a trust fund from Grandpa." Then he raised his voice, sharp and final. "Leave us alone. Or Claire goes public. She'll publish everything, every disgusting detail. Names, dates, receipts. Your friends, your business partners, every investor, the media, they'll all know exactly what you are. And they'll talk about it for a long, long time." We turned and walked out. Well, almost. Justin went upstairs to grab some of his stuff, and of course, Sharon cornered me in the hallway. "Claire, wait." I turned around slowly. "I understand. This has all been very emotional. But if you were to walk away from Justin and hand over the materials you collected, we could discuss compensation. To make this all go away." I looked at her. Then actually laughed. "You really think everything's for sale? I love your son. He loves me. And we're staying together, whether you like it or not." She didn't give up. "Don't rush to answer. Think about it. We're talking a substantial amount of money. Say, $1 million. I stared at her in silence, mostly just trying to keep from gagging. She mistook it for interest and perked up. "Yes, $1 million. All you'd have to do is disappear from Justin's life, give us the originals, sign an NDA. Stop, I cut her off, my voice sharp enough to slice marble. I don't want your money. Like Justin said, leave us the hell alone. If you don't, I'll release everything. I'll go public, with every single detail. And trust me, the media will love the story. Heirloom hoax, the family that framed a fiancé. Should I pitch that title, or do you want to? She went sheet white and took a step back. For a second, I thought she was going to clutch her heart again, like she did in the study when she pretended to be oh so shocked the ring was missing. But no. This time it was real. She pressed her lips into a thin line, shot me one last withering look, and walked away in silence. Head held high. Like she still had some dignity left. Newsflash, Sharon, dignity doesn't survive blackmail, bribery, and a fake felony charge. But go off, I guess. And just like that, we walked out of that house. No goodbyes. No final speeches. Just, close the chapter and shut the door behind us. Justin was quiet for most of the drive. Eventually, he said, "We need to talk to Howard." Honestly, it was kind of amazing how normal things had always been between him and his brother. Not just normal, warm. Like the two of them had always quietly known they were the only sane people in a house full of status-obsessed drama addicts. He called him as soon as we got home. I didn't hear what was said, but Justin's face told me everything. He listened a lot, said very little. And then finally, with this heavy breath that sounded like something inside him cracked loose, he said, "Thank you. You have no idea what this means to me." Turns out, Howard wasn't just on our side. He was furious. Genuinely, righteously angry. He'd always known their parents weren't fans of me, but orchestrating a fake theft? Paying someone to publicly humiliate his brother's fiancée just because she didn't come for money? That crossed a line for him. All the lines, actually. 2 days later, he announced he was leaving the family business. Said he couldn't be part of something run by people capable of doing something that cruel. Their father lost it. Because without Howard and Justin, the business wasn't just losing 2 top executives, it was losing its credibility. Its image. Its future. Both sons walked away. Publicly. One took his department, his team, his network. The other took clients, some of them high-profile investors. They left, and the cracks started showing almost immediately. Not dramatic. Not explosive. Just, quiet. Subtle. Dangerous. Employees started slipping away. Clients got hard to reach. People who used to brag about being close to Justin's parents suddenly went awkwardly silent. The office got quiet. Too quiet. Turns out, the sons weren't just important. They were the anchor. The trust. And without them, the whole thing started to wobble. The company didn't crash. Not yet, anyway. But the reputation? That went into freefall. People started asking questions. One of their longtime partners, an old family friend actually, politely backed out of a major deal. A few shipments got delayed. The press didn't know the details, but something smelled off, and the industry noticed. All of that, from one little attempt to protect their son from the wrong kind of wife. And us? We got married. Quietly. Beachside. Just family and friends. No pomp, no drama. Justin's parents weren't there. For the first time in forever, I felt safe. Like I wasn't some guest in someone else's story. Like I wasn't the poor girl trying to fit into a world that didn't want her. I was chosen. Wanted. And finally starting to believe I was worth it. Justin didn't just stand by me, he stood up for me. When I was drowning in shame and self-doubt, he fought for me like it actually mattered. Because it did. To him. It took his parents 3 months. 3 months of silence, rumors, and watching their business take hit after hit. Then they showed up. First to us. Then to Howard. Polite. Composed. Like they hadn't staged an entire scandal. They talked about moving forward, letting bygones be bygones. Not a word about the ring. Not a word about the setup. Just tight smiles and eyes full of quiet panic. But it was obvious. They'd finally realized they needed their sons more than they needed to be right. And still, both Justin and Howard said no. Flat out. They started their own consulting firm. With their combined brains, education, and contacts, they didn't just land on their feet, they took off running. And the industry followed. One day, I saw a magazine cover with their photo on it. Posed in front of their massive mansion. The headline said, "An empire without heirs, what went wrong inside the Hill family dynasty?" I didn't even pick it up. Just smirked and kept walking. Sometimes justice doesn't come loud. Sometimes it just stares back at you from a glossy cover. Quiet. Precise. Perfectly aimed. What do you think? Did we do the right thing? Was it worth it, even if it meant cutting ties with family? Do you think there was another way? Or once you cross a line like that, is there no going back? Let me know in the comments. Tell me whose side you're on, and what you would have done. And if this story hit home, don't forget to subscribe.